Sarah from Tribal Impact, and this is my latest tribal sketch all about joining the dots between your social media strategies. Now, typically organisations will approach their social media from a very brand-centric point of view. And in most cases, that involves doing these two things: creating social media content to publish on their brand social media channels. This is quite normal. This is what social media managers are used to: crisis management, and in many cases, not in all, but governance and security as well. So understanding if we've got a social media policy in place, that employees understand it, but also keeping an eye out to make sure that duplicate channels aren't being created that represent the branding correctly. So these are the common things that most people associate with social media management. Now, in some cases, organizations then start to do monitoring and listening. And monitoring and listening can be divided into two broad areas. The first area is brand. So looking at how well your brand is being mentioned on social media, looking at metrics like volume of conversation, brand sentiment. But also there's another side to social listening, which is topics and themes. So this doesn't mention anything to do with the brand. It's purely looking at the conversations you as a brand want to be part of. So this will look at trending topics and relevant topics that might feed into a content strategy within an organization. Now, most advanced organizations on social will be doing the brand social listening, but not many will be doing topics and themes, which is a little bit unfortunate because that kind of intelligence can help you activate your experts. Now we're down here. Now, influencer marketing is not new. It's something, the B2C world have been using for a while. B2B is increasingly embracing influencer marketing. But influencer marketing isn't just about paying people with lots of followers on Twitter to say good things about your brand. It actually, at its best and most credible, is when you connect your employee experts with external influential experts. And this is peer-to-peer influencer marketing. Takes a little bit of time. It takes longer than just paying someone nice to say good things about you and to come to an event. But this kind of credible connection by identifying your employee experts, enabling them to create content, so it puts them into a position of digital influence, and connecting those with external influencers who can give you reach with content than you would never get with either employee advocacy or managing your own brand channels. Now, this kind of social listening is linked to that, because if you're looking at relevant insights and relevant topics, if you can feed those into your experts to create relevant and timely content, and then once the relationship's built, give your influencers a chance to be part of that content, then you're starting to join the dots. Now, the next stage from this is, once you've got that content, your employee advocacy tool. Now, a lot of employee advocacy tools might be ran from a very brand-centric point of view, which means they've got brand content in there. But not all employees just want to share brand content, and it would be wrong to think that they would want to just do that. So you need to have a good old healthy mix of third-party content, but also peer content. And this is where you can connect your employee expert content into your advocacy program. And this is where, and not only that, you can connect your identified influencer content into your advocacy program. So your advocacy program is much more than just brand content. It's about joining the dots between the other programs in your organization and making sure that content gets into the advocacy tool for those people to share. Now, of course, your employee advocacy tool shouldn't just be used for all employees. In fact, when you master the art of putting third-party content in there, your employee advocacy tool then becomes relevant for social sellers. Now, those that launch social selling programs will find that the biggest and most hassle for your sales teams is finding content, which is why a lot of salespeople fall off when it comes to doing social selling, because they just don't have the time to find and share content. And this is where your employee advocacy tool comes in. But your social sellers need to be trusted advisors to the outside world. They can't be just brand-centric mega voices. They need to be trusted advisors, which means their content mix needs to be a good, healthy mix, if not 60-40, like 60% third party, 40% brand. I'd even go so far as to say some of your sales teams, for example, your business development reps, should be thinking even like 30 40-70 split, which is why your advocacy tool needs to have a good, healthy amount of third-party content so your social selling teams can use it. Now, ultimately, all of this is connected. How you then govern your employees before they go on an employee advocacy program, how you feed monitoring and insights into your subject matter experts to create content, connect with their influencers and feed that into the advocacy program. You can see how all of this works together. But then the ultimate one is this at the bottom, your social media analytics. So not only do you have analytics for each of these individually. So for example, if I post a post via employees and our brand social channels and our sales teams and our influencers, how do they correlate against each other? Who's getting me the most reach? Who's getting me the most clicks? Who's getting me the most engagements? And you can start to look at specific metrics across the holistic approach. So it's not just about monitoring the metrics in each one of these individually, which is highly important to understand the program's success, but it's also correlating the impact and seeing, have we trained employees? How is that impacting their sharing? Have we given them the right amount of enablement to be able to share properly and in the right manner? Or are they spamming their audiences with content, which is not a best practice approach? So joining the dots doesn't work just for the programs. It works for analysing your program impact. And yes, you have to analyse individually how you're doing in each of these programs, but consider analysing across these programs. So here's another example. If your sales teams are using the employee advocacy tool, look at the SSI correlation impact between those with a high SSI and those that are the highest users of your employee advocacy program. And then look at your social selling specific metrics, which is look at the correlation between high SSI and sales performance metrics, such as total pipeline, number of deals in the pipeline, and the average deal size in that pipeline. So there's all sorts of metrics that you can do within the programs, but also across the programs to get a holistic picture of your social strategy.